Hope everyone's having a nice weekend. This is your friend Koosh. I'm going to do a weekend market update and a YouTube members request. Just a reminder, on requests, I can only take requests from members. I've got a day job and I get, I don't know, 50 to 100 requests between X and YouTube every week and just don't have the bandwidth. I'd love to be able to do that, but I don't. And so members, I take requests from subscribers on X. I take requests from, and then I do for the members videos here on YouTube include I don't know, one, two, sometimes three extra videos a week where I go into some of the setups that I think are the most favorable in some of the altcoins and some of the stocks that I follow more often, and take a bit deeper of a dive in addition to the request. So if you want to see some of that stuff and more value, then you may want to consider joining as a member. Um, if not, continue to enjoy these weekend market updates because they will continue to come. And so, with that, just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know which way these things are going to go. They can go up, down, sideways. You all know that. I know that. I have a certain view on the market in the things that I cover the most. And sometimes I don't have a great view. And some of my ex subscribers see that where I'll post neutral or bearish or um, indecisive views. And so what I present generally is the stuff that I have uh, the most solid view on when it comes to the three things that I look at, which are Elliott wave patterns, confluence with 30-day moving average, confluence with Wyckoff, right? Wyckoff, we see so much accumulation in stage one basings. Expansion would be stage two uptrend. Distribution would be stage three. You get the picture, right? Distribution ABC. One, twos are very often accumulations, reaccumulations. Three, fours are very often reaccumulation events. Um, and so on it goes. And so let's start with Bitcoin. And I've gotten rid of all the noise off this chart just to objectively remove our bias and just say, okay, from the standpoint of those three things I just discussed, has anything changed this week? The answer is no, nothing has changed this week. We still have a 30 week that's sloping upwards, mind you. Okay, that's an upward sloping 30 week. It's flattened out for a brief time back here in September. It didn't really flatten out here in August. That was still sloping. The closest thing we've gotten to a flattening out was in September. Prior to that, we saw a very long period of flattening out. Okay, that's hint, right? For us, for later, for now, right? What if that were to start to happen? That would be concerning. That's not happening. We saw a little flattening back here in September. We saw a most certain flattening back in July that ended up being a reaccumulation. We saw a flattening back in July 2018 and a downslope. And so I'm just reminding us all of why these things are important when I look at the 30 week. Let's get rid of those. Let's look at the last thing. Let's look at the last thing, which is the Wyckoff from the Wyckoff standpoint. Let's not put any of the images in. Let's just simply look at let's look at some lines that the market has respected. Okay. We're going back to 2017. That was a ceiling. That was a floor. This was a ceiling. This was a ceiling. This was a ceiling. And we haven't really tested it as support. I don't expect us to test it as support, much like I didn't expect us to test it as support back here after we broke out of it, given the proportion, and this is all about proportions here. This was an accumulation within a larger reaccumulation, and if we just kind of take a look at how long this sign of strength lasted following that accumulation, I didn't expect it to be retested. It never did. Same concept is kind of going on here, where this is the macro accumulation range. Macro accumulation range. Look how long this thing is lasting. We had a sign of strength in here that lasted 7-8 months. And so if this truly is a massive spring, when I mean spring, I don't mean spring as in Wyckoff. I mean spring as in, an accumulation where when this energy is released, when that accumulation is done, I'd expect the energy to be released substantially without any real check back. That would be a sign of weakness. I mean, if we were to go, let's play this game. If we were to go to 70,000, I'd expect it to go lower. I really would. I'd expect something that I haven't accounted for here. I'll just say that. But for now, that's just speculation because everything is aligned when I look at the total picture on Bitcoin. When I look at what a massive reaccumulation would look like. This is a schematic. This is a reaccumulation schematic from Wyckoff Principles. I think I reviewed this recently, but it's helpful to review it again. Buying climax, upthrust phase B, creek, spring, test, LPS, jump across the creek. Sign of strength, where does that occur? Sign of strength occurs at the range highs. Handle, if you will, too. That's a handle. Massive cup. These are all the same kind of concepts. Breakout, consolidation within a breakout. The bias has to be continuation, and it has to be much further than, again, I continue to project that people are expecting. I've gone through that already. So that's enough for Bitcoin. I've gone over some various low time frame stuff in the members videos. But for now, trend is positive, and I'm expecting continuation. SPY continues to follow this first path that I've outlined. Not much to really report here other than a recent AAII member survey, where the members are surveyed at various points, week ending this past week, looking at the view 1 year forward, week ending 12/2/12/225, 47% had a bearish view on the market 1 month forward. That's the bearish reading that we've seen all year, or that's 6 months forward, excuse me. And so I just continue to believe that this is not normal behavior for all-time high stock market. This is not normal behavior. The crash that needs to be considered here is a crash upwards when the market is on eggshells or that uncertain or not massively bullish, or your friends aren't talking about this stock market's the best thing ever, and when we're at all-time highs, and so this continues to kind of be the view. For now, the 1, 2 looks to be potentially playing out. 3, sure, this could be a 1A, B, C, and then up. We haven't exceeded the 1, 2, 6 extension. Let's just take a look at what that would look like on candle. That would be the only other possibility. Yeah, we haven't. I mean, this could still be a flat that we're working on, expanding flat, where, again, you could do a B, running flat, expanded flat. All those things are possible. But again, with the sentiment readings the way they are, my bias has to be upwards, has to continue to be upwards. Now, I know the back half of February typically isn't the most bullish part of February, but so the Santa Claus rally never came, and that's the most bullish time in an election year for 3 years. Out of 4 years, that third or the fourth year in election cycle, I believe, is the most bullish, the last 2 weeks of December and first week of January, and we didn't see that come to fruition, did we? No, we didn't. This is what the market did in historically the most bullish time every 4 years. And so, should the market do, that because that's what the seasonality says? Well, maybe not. We're going to find out. Gold's putting a top in here, a local top, not a macro top. I've redrawn my count to account for this view. I previously had 3 here and maybe a flat correction here, but this has exceeded what you would see for a B wave in a flat. And so the view now is, and this is good for Bitcoin, mind you, is some type of correction here prior to a move up 5. We'll see if that comes back. So I'm looking for a pullback in gold, a pullback to 2,600. Back to the cloud on the weekly would be completely normal. Breaching the 30-week would be completely normal. If this 30 weeks coming up here and we do something like that, that's completely normal. We saw that before. The cloud rules. That's what I don't want to see breached here, which is 2,600. And there's no guarantee we're going to even get that. And there's no guarantee that my count here is even correct. Okay. Just because I have 3 here doesn't mean this is reversing. Just because we have this bearish looking candle and some signs of exhaustion doesn't mean that that's going to happen either. We look at RSI on a weekly time frame. We're in 70. It's gotten more overbought than that before. So there's no guarantee this stops here either. We got to the same level on power and gold went up for another 3 weeks. We got the same level on power here in September, and it went up for another month and a half. So who knows? We'll see. I could be wrong there. Copper. I applied a count to copper. This is one of our YouTube members' requests. And I got an X sub request for this as well. So well timed. So I got to spend a little time with this count. And here's kind of what I've come up with. I've come up with a macro reaccumulation range. So that's first and foremost. This is the reaccumulation range coming in from an uptrend. Okay. 30-week up, starts to flatten out. That's distribution. Rejects on the underside. We get a selling climax, secondary test, LPS, and now we've got a reclaim of the 30-week. We're above the cloud. And could this consolidate here? Sure. And just kind of carve out this higher low before we move up and out? Absolutely. I don't know what the path is next week or the week after. What I do know is, from my viewpoint, this is a very bullish posture. You're late in what appears to be an reaccumulation event. Okay, if we look at quadrants, phases, right? Phase A, phase B, phase C, phase D, phase E is expansion. That's the closer we get to this E in time and in levels, higher lows, LPS, the more bullish we have to get. This is a bullish posture. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. And so this bodes well, I believe, for risk assets as well. And so the count on copper, macro count here, is bullish. This could be a major 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're in sub 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. But very good look on copper. The dollar, we've been looking to go down, finally has been making that move. Appears to be early stages of this redistribution schematic. If we look at a daily chart, and you've seen me present this chart for a while now, pull up the daily. What I really like on dailies is when we get a breach of the 30, SMA starts to roll over, get a rejection, and then you get in the cloud. What I really want to see is this thing fall out of the cloud, maybe you get an underside test, and then it just continues down. This would be very, very bullish for the dollar continuing downwards. And so for now, continue to look at the dollar is moving downwards. Again, it may not be a straight line, but so far, so good. IWM, 30-week chart on the IWM continues to hold the bullish posture. The 30-week moving average is sloping very clearly in a direction. The cloud is the 30 week is above the cloud. We got a retest of the 30 this week. What I have a little ABC here. From here, you need to see a big movement in order for this to be a 3. We really can't see too much more consolidation in around here. If you do, then it risks kind of coming back one more leg, and this 2 isn't in yet, and 2 is being made here before move up. But for now, we've got alignment on everything that we look at, including Wyckoff. This entire move is occurring where, as it relates to the Wyckoff, it's occurring at the all-time high region. Okay, and so that continues to look constructive. Folks, I hope you found this helpful. Please subscribe if you want to get these weekend updates, and like the video if you found it valuable. Take care. Have a great rest of the weekend.